Okay, so today is March the 4th, 2015. My name is Ennis Barbery. I'm the interviewer today, and we're here with Carrie Olson, who's volunteering and assisting me, and we're here with, can you say your name?
Linda Snellings.
Linda Snellings? How do you spell that?
Snellings.
Okay. And we're here also with Sam Russell, whose full name is Harold Ray Russell, but he's been known as Sam. And we're doing a life history interview with him for the Museum of Chincoteague Island and the Island Library. So when were you born?
I was born in 1925,
And what month were you born in?
February 5th.
February 5th, 1925. Wow. And what was it like growing up on Chincoteague? Were you born on Chincoteague?
Born and raised here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an old Chincoteague native.
Which neighborhood were you born in? You know those different neighborhoods like down the marsh and...
I was all over the place.
All over the place. Oh, okay.
I lived up the neck.
Up the neck?
I lived up the island. And born and raised and lived right here in town, what's called town.
Which part do they call town? I didn't know that. They just, the part right around...
Yeah.
Around Edmonton?
Up in town area, all the center part of the island.
What was it like growing up here? What kind of things did you all do for fun?
I run the oyster boat, and I also was a mechanic.
Oh, wow. Yeah. When did you start running an oyster boat? Pretty young?
Yeah. I was about 22, 23, something like that.
What did your parents do? Were they born on Chincoteague too?
Yeah. Dad was a fisherman, and Mom tended to the family.
Okay. What kind of fishing did he do?
Commercial fish.
Commercial fishing, yeah.
Yeah.
Did he go down the bay, or do you know where he went around and fished?
No, he fished in the ocean all the time.
What was his name?
Aaron C. Russell.
What was that first name? Aaron?
Aaron.
Aaron. How do you spell it?
A-A-R-O-N.
A-A-R-O-N, Russell. And what was your mom's name?
Lula.
Lola?
Lula.
Lula. L-U-L-A. Did you have brothers and sisters?
Plenty of them.
How many?
I had 3 sisters. Got still one living. And how many brothers was it? 5 or 6.
Yeah, there's 10 altogether.
Were you in the middle, or where were you? Were you the oldest, the youngest?
I was the youngest. I was younger. I had one younger than I was. 2, 3 was younger than I was.
Where did you go to school? Was that when the school was over on Church Street?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any memories of what it was like to go to school there?
Yeah, I played football all the time.
Okay.
I like football.
For Chincoteague High School, right? And what position did you play?
All the time. All over.
All of them. Did you all have dances back then? Dances at the school?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I don't know. I didn't do no dancing.
Oh, okay. That's what some people have told me, depending on which church they went to. They weren't allowed to go to the dances. Did you go to one of the churches here growing up? Which one?
I used to go to Baptist.
Union Baptist?
Yeah. I'll still go there.
Did you all ever go over to Assateague? Some people have talked about, like, church picnics going over to Assateague.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What, do you have any memories of times that happened, things that happened when you went over to Assateague?
No, I don't have memories.
What about pony pinning?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What was that like?
It was good.
Was it different than it is today?
Yeah.
How was it different?
Well, I guess because they smoked on it over
Mhm.
and different things.
He's the same age as the carnival.
Oh, you're the same age as. So the carnival started the year you were born. That's right.
Yeah.
He's 90.
That's right. Do you remember when they made the Misty movie? Were you a kid then? No, you wouldn't have been a kid. You would have been an adult already when they made that in the 60s. I don't know what I'm thinking. Do you remember what kind of games you played or growing up, what kind of,
And we played all kinds of games.
all kinds of games? Did you have chores you had to do?
No.
No chores. Pretty lucky. Maybe it's because you were in some of the younger kids. What was your first job? Was that the oyster boat?
Oyster boat. And I was a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
When they had the garage down to the island.
The Rambler place.
Rambler place.
Where was that?
Right there to the foot of the bridge. The old bridge.
Okay.
The old bridge.
Rambler Place at the foot of the old bridge. When you were working on the oyster boat, what was like a typical day like? What time would you have to get up and what would you do?
We'd leave home about 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
come out and we'd get done with the oysters, clean the boat up about 12 o'clock
Where
that day.
Where would you go to get the oysters?
Down Cockle Creek.
Did you work with other men that were on the boat too? How many were there?
I had two deck men, and I was in charge of the boat.
Okay.
I used to run the boat. Named the Queen Murray.
His name the Queen Mary?
Named the boat
Yeah.
Queen Murray.
And why did you stop? Why did you get out of that business and start being a mechanic?
Well, it run out of business. It run out of horses. They run out of horses.
Now, why was that?
Because a certain year, the oyster business folded up around here. Then I went to mechanic business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was carpenter for 35 years.
Wow. Oh, yes, you've had lots of experience. When the oyster business is folded, was that because of a disease that the oysters had?
No.
No, just certain times of year you don't oyster.
Oh, seasonally. I thought you were talking about the business.
Seasonal.
Okay. So what was the season that you used to use for oyster in? What months of the year?
In December and January, February, and the month before December.
Oh, November, okay. So November through February, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the year you would be a carpenter or a mechanic, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you were part of World War II.
Right.
We talked about. Do you remember when you first found out that World War II was happening, was going on?
Yeah.
What happened?
I see. I was stationed I was at 4F.
4F.
They called it,
Where was that?
and 4Fs wasn't called.
He wasn't supposed to have been called in.
They weren't called in, and the guy said to me, he says, "How come you down here with these 1As?" And I says, "I was called, and and they came down, and he says, told the guy, he says, "What are you doing this 4F in here?" He says, he was called, so went in.
Huh. I don't understand what the 4F
The
was.
4F is like there were so many boys in the family, and he was to stay home to be able to help the family.
I see,
And-
okay.
But they called him in anyway.
Okay.
See, way back, there was a family. The woman had lost every one of her boys because they all went in the same time, put them all on the same ship.
Mm.
And when they lost the ship, she lost every one of her boys. So they tried not to do that anymore.
So they called you in, and then what happened?
Well, then I was shipped overseas.
Where'd you go?
I went in Pearl Harbor at the first time. And then I went to Pearl Harbor and came home and took on a load of cargo. I was in Navy cargo ship. And they took on a load of cargo, and we went back overseas again.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went back overseas at that time, we unloaded Pearl Harbor. And after we come back from Pearl Harbor, we stopped in California, and I've been all over the place.
Sounds like it. So were you at Pearl Harbor when the big attack on Pearl Harbor happened, or afterward?
Afterwards.
What did Pearl Harbor, oh wow, USS Tate, a.k.a. 70. So that would have been the name of your ship?
The name of my ship.
And it was a cargo ship?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had cargo and personnel.
Cargo and personnel, okay.
What are you doing, huh? What are you doing?
So when you went to see Pearl Harbor after it had been attacked, what did it look like? What do you remember about being there?
Tore up, and the equipment that we carried over to rebuild and fix roads and stuff. We carried heavy equipment. Whether you tore it.
So you said after you were at Pearl Harbor, you went all over the place. You went to California. Where else did you go?
Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima.
I was down when the war broke out.
Wow.
And it was real bad. In fact, I was board ship with Ernie Powell and the captain. And one of the boys that was with us that took it, and they called him Iwo Jima. They said, how come you doing over here? I said, I got called and I've been. I said, I'm supposed to go with it. And he said to me, he says, how come you got this Iwo Jima? I said, listen, I don't know how I got there. I said, but later on they turned the ship up. They turned us loose. And you would come out on points at this time. And I was ready for points. And I went aboard ship. And that's why I was discharged.
Now, why were you discharged? Because of points? I don't think I understand the points system.
Point system.
So you got a certain number of points. How did you get points?
So many year board ship.
For how?
Whatever.
Oh, so each year you were serving,
Yeah.
you get a number of points and get discharged. Okay. But you were there for the Battle of Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
Wow. That must have been...
I didn't pay much attention to it because we had a ship and the crew was always ready.
Mm-hmm.
When it had general quarters, the crew was always ready.
What was your job on the ship? What did you do?
I was a gunner aboard the ship on 25 here.
What did you say? You were a gunner aboard the ship?
Yeah.
You said something after that. I didn't...
20 millimeter gun, Dad?
Yeah, 25 years gun.
Did you get to see some pretty interesting places in Japan?
Yeah,
You guys stopped?
I got to Pearl Harbor. I got to Guam. I went all kinds of places. And we were in Guam, and I run the party boat, LST, and they said to me, he says, how come you were there? I said, why'd you go? He said, two of the LSTs were ashore to get supplies, and they come back. They got lost during the fog, and I was a borderman all my life, and I know what the situation was.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said to me, he says, "How come you're out here?" I said, "I'm looking for them two boats that got lost." And I was going to an LST,
Mm-hmm.
and they had twin screws, what they call twin engines.
Mm-hmm.
And
Twin engines, yeah. And what is the LST? What does that stand for?
It's a type of, the life craft, Dad, something?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, I'll look it up, yeah. Type of boat. But yeah, that's right. You were a waterman. You had a lot of experience on the water when you
Yeah.
joined, right? So you were in the, I should have asked this before, you were in the Navy or the Coast Guard, or what branch of the
I was
service?
in the Navy,
In the Navy. What was your rank?
second class.
And so you were saying you got discharged. What year, do you know what year it was in the war when you got discharged?
Thought it up. I went in there for 2 years,
2 years?
and I was 2 years overseas. I spent 2 years overseas.
Did you write letters home to Chincoteague while you were away?
Huh?
Did you write letters when you were on the ship?
Oh, yeah. Used to write all the time.
Mm-hmm. Did you keep any of them?
No. Never.
Who did you write to?
I don't write to my mom and Dad.
You could only say so much though, right? Because the censor would read it and you couldn't say anything much about where you were or what you were doing. Yeah. So what kind of stuff did you write him about?
I told him where I was at. Different things.
Roughly.
Mm-hmm. Roughly, yeah.
He wrote to Mom, but I have not signed any of the letters.
So were you already married then?
Huh?
Were you already married when you were stationed overseas?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, let's go back to that for a minute then. What was your wife's name?
I was married 3 times, 3 years.
Not 3 times.
3 years. I was married, and her name was Ellen.
Ellen. Okay.
Helen.
Helen.
What was her maiden name?
Walker.
Walker. Okay. Was she from Chincoteague too?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you first meet her?
I used to court all the time. Different ones. And I liked her, and we got married.
Was that after you were in high school or?
Yeah,
Yeah. After you played football?
yeah. I was just looking to see if I had pictures of her.
Up there. The top one.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a picture of that before we leave.
Might have one that would have been more recent.
Okay. So you guys have gotten married. What was your wedding like? Did you have a small wedding on Chincoteague with your family?
No, I didn't get had a small one. I didn't. Just got married, and that's it.
What year was that? Do you remember the year?
No.
Let's see, 3 years. Maybe like 38.
They were married 65 years when she passed away in 2007.
Okay. Had you had any kids before you left for the war?
Oh, yeah.
My brother, James.
So you had James Russell, okay. But you got to meet him though before you were stationed overseas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what year he was born in?
He was born in,
I don't know. Do you?
he just turned 71.
We'll do the math. Let's see.
43.
Okay. So he was
See,
born.
So he had come out in 44. He came out of service in 44.
So what happened after you got out of the service?
Then I went to work for Bristol Webro.
To work.
Webro.
What was his first name?
Arch.
Lumber.
Iron Lumber.
Wimber. Oh, is that like the
Wimbro.
Wimbro?
Mhm.
How do you spell that? You think
W-I-M-B-R-O-W.
Arch Wimbro. What did he do?
He was a big man, and he owned the oyster business.
Oh, okay. On
And,
Chincoteague?
and the boat I used to run.
Was he from Chincoteague too?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's right. I've heard his name before. So he owned an oyster business here. Okay. Was it called like Wimbro Oysters, or do you know what the name of it was? Where did he have a shucking house?
No,
No.
just packed them in shell.
Mm. So with that job, did you go back out on the boat like you were talking about before? Mm-hmm. Was it any different than before you had gone into the war? Did the seafood business change?
No,
Mm-hmm. Still seasonal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people talk about how after the things got built up on wallops during World War II, it was kind of a lot. It was busier on Chincoteague. More people than beforehand were coming in. And then did you have more kids?
Me.
I had two is all.
Okay.
Her and the boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed with her.
Mm-hmm.
Or she stayed with me.
What was Main Street like? Have you seen how Main Street has changed over the years?
No, honey.
No?
It ain't changed a damn bit.
It hasn't changed a bit? Okay, good. I'm glad.
The island has changed.
How has the island changed?
And since the bridge, you don't have to come to the bridge down. You have to come on up to the other bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's a big difference. And they built that bridge to Assateague, right? So that's a big change.
Yeah.
So you must have seen when the tourism industry really got started or got, bigger and bigger. Do you remember anything about before?
No, I was young,
Mm.
and I stayed home all the time.
See, before there was motels, people rented their rooms out in their homes.
Mm.
Because we used to rent bedrooms out here.
So did you get to meet a lot of people from out of town that way?
Yeah. And a lot of times once you got people coming, they'd come back to stay with you every year.
Mm. We're going to have to come back and do an interview with you, too. You can remember.
At times, you'd have so many people in here, we'd leave a light on at night so you didn't step on somebody because they were all over the floors. Everywhere.
How long have you guys had this house? Since you were born?
They moved in here when I was 2.
Okay. So you've had this house for quite a while.
This house is 65 years old. Him and his uncle built it.
That's right, because you were a carpenter, too, huh? So you built this house. Wow. Did you build any of the other houses on the island?
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the ones that you worked on? Where were they?
All over the island.
Okay.
All over.
Was there any one that you remember was a fun house to build, or?
No, all just like.
All the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you all ever have any ponies, any Chincoteague ponies or animals that you took care of?
I could have had one all the time, but my grandfather used to raise them.
Oh, he did?
He
Okay.
had Mother Meyer and the colt and an Avon, and he raised a Meyer over here,
Mm-hmm.
and when they get big enough, they'd sell them.
Okay. What was his name? What was your grandfather's name?
George Colnay.
What was the last name?
Colnay.
C-O-L-O-N-A.
C-O-L-A...
O-N-A.
O-N-A. Oh, that's an interesting name. Hold on. I don't think I've heard that one before on Chincoteague, but maybe I just have not been paying attention. And he was on Chincoteague, too. He was on the island, too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was he your mother's father?
He was
Because he wasn't a Russell.
Actually, he raised my mother.
Okay. He raised your mother, okay.
He didn't have any children.
Okay.
And
So he raised your mother, who was Helen Walker.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because her mother died when she was very young. And he raised her and her brother.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he always had all kinds of animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was her brother's name?
Edward Walker. They called him Buddy. He's still living.
Is he a World War II vet, too?
No. He didn't go in service because he'd gotten, I don't know how, he lost one eye.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
Does he still live on the island, too?
Mhm.
He might be a
Yes.
great person to interview as well.
yeah, he was in the movie Misty. He was on the dock, separating clams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Edward Walker. Yeah, let's try to get his phone number from you, see if he wants to be interviewed, because that would seems like he might have some good memories too. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can ask about World War II and what it was like. So when you first got your assignment, where did you have to go to get that assignment? Did you get a letter in the mail that said got a letter in the mail? Okay. And then where did you have to report to?
I had to go to Camp Perry, Virginia.
Camp Perry.
Yeah, that's just on the other side of Richmond.
Okay.
It's this side of Richmond,
This
between
side of
Hampton and
Richmond.
Yorktown.
Okay. Do you remember anything about Camp Fletcher that was on the island? It was like an army camp, an army base on Chincoteague.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that? We're trying to get more details about what Camp Fletcher was like and what they did there.
Well, they had an army then, and a lot of army men, and they just patrolled the island and go from one place to the other.
Mm. Did they train any dogs there?
No,
No.
I know of.
Yeah, some people have said that, but we're not sure if they're thinking of a different place. Okay.
Was it a training center?
Huh?
Was it a training center?
No, it was
Just
Patrol.
just traded for army and that's all.
Mhm. Yeah, we know about that, and we know there's a Coast Guard infirmary. One guy who I've interviewed, he talked about how he
We
was
got a
stationed.
big Coast Guard.
Yeah.
We got a big Coast Guard stationed here.
Mhm. Where was that located? The Coast Guard
That's
station.
down the island. The port, just as you leave the island, you go downtown.
Mhm.
Just as you go downtown, it was right there on
Mm.
the side.
So it's sort of where Tom's Cove
Yeah.
campground is. That's what we've heard about it. Okay. Where the infirmary was, at least.
And there's also an old Coast Guard building on Wallops Beach.
That's great.
I'd like to see the Coast Guard take it and float it over and make a museum out of the building's nice.
Well, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, we
Yeah.
should do that. Well, is there anything else you want to share about World War II? What you're
No, honey.
You think you covered it all?
I'm glad it's over with.
Okay, that's fine then. Well, thank you so much for doing this.